One of the most freeing things that I learned through human design was this. Your energy is not meant to operate like everyone else. And thank God. Most of us are completely exhausted because we're trying to be these carbon copies of other people whose energy works completely different to ours. Understanding your energy type isn't about putting yourself in a box. It's about recognizing the ways that your energy naturally moves. So you stop fighting yourself and you start working with your own rhythm. You start to honor how your body is meant to move. Hi, I'm Courtney Jones from Unshakable Work, and this video is part of my mini-series about human design and self-trust. Today, we're talking about why you don't need to operate like everyone else and what changes when you finally understand your own unique energy. So sometimes in life, we can get stuck because we're trying to compare ourselves to other people whose energy actually works very different from ours. We try their strategy, we try their pace, we try their shoulds, and then we wonder why it doesn't work for us. And this comes into play in so many different areas, like motherhood, your work, your business, your relationships, your creativity, your nervous system health, your emotional bandwidth. Some of this can be strongly linked to, just trying to be like someone else when you're not supposed to be. I know for myself, there's been these times, like as a manifesting generator, I used to force myself to do things like my mum. My mum's a generator and she works in quite a linear, relatively predictable way, and her energy is really consistent and reliable. And even though as a manifesting generator, I do still have some of those traits of reliable energy and being able to recharge daily, trying to be like her, it left me feeling empty and broken and feeling like there was something wrong with me. I felt like I couldn't finish things and I would, change my mind too much, and it wasn't how she was doing things. And I thought, am I supposed to be like that? And that's what I tried to do for years. But once I understood how my energy actually works, it stopped being a flaw and it actually became my superpower. So like I said, there have been so many times where I have looked at my mum as a role model and thought this is how I am supposed to be using my energy. And my mum, she has kind of a go, go, go attitude. She can sit down for 5 minutes and then she's up and going again. Like it's just this constant, reliable source of energy where she's just always on the go, always doing things. Now, she definitely needs her rest, and I think that's probably one of the things that she struggled to model the best for us, but it was someone who I looked up to and thought, that's how I need to be using my energy. Now, I'm a manifesting generator, like I said, and it's slightly different. There is that manifestor element to it. So I'm going to describe briefly just the types that there are in human design, and we'll start with manifestors. So manifestors are designed to initiate. They need freedom and they need space. Manifestors can really get stuck in trying to force themselves into obedience and really shutting themselves down. When they are honoring their energy, it feels clean and there's clear urges. And in terms of energy and feeling like you can do things, manifestors are not meant to see things through usually. They are normally meant to have a team around them or a community where they can initiate, spark an idea and really engage the community in something, and then the generators and the manifesting generators can come in and build it up and do the work. Because if a manifestor is trying to do that, it will exhaust them. They do not have the energy supply for it. They have an undefined sacral and they need regular periods of rest. So what you'll find with a manifestor is they work in bursts, and it can be like this really big, bold, powerful burst of energy where they're inspired and they're creative and they're making stuff happen, and then their energy drops off. and they need to rest, and they need to honor that, because when they force through that, they can really cause themselves to burn out hard and, cause all other kinds of issues in their body. Now, generators, they are the backbone, and it's one of those things when people find out that they're a generator, they can be like, oh, I'm just like everyone else kind of thing. But no, generators are freaking magic. If you've ever been in someone's energy when they're just warm and, they have all this vitality and they have the energy to do things from leading from their heart, it's a power like nothing else. And so generators are here to respond to things and to follow what lights them up. Forcing things and not allowing their heart to lead them is where they can fall short and where they can fall into burnout. Flow for them feels like excitement, satisfaction, and warmth. And forcing themselves to do something because they have the energy doesn't mean they should. Just because they can doesn't mean they should, I should say. Now, manifesting generators, and I am speaking a little bit from experience here. So they're known for being fast, non-linear, and multi-passionate. So manifesting generators are generally people who change their mind and will, build upon different things. They'll take a bit from here, take a bit from there, and they might skip steps and they get things done efficiently. And sometimes they might have to go back and, change things and fix things because they are so quick. And it's not just quick in terms of energy, this is quick in terms of manifesting as well, bringing things into their auric field. Manifesting generators are just incredible for this. So if you're a manifesting generator and you're forcing yourself to be really consistent, reliable, and forcing a straight path and a linear way of doing things, that's where you'll probably find the most burnout and find the most problems with your energy. For a manifesting generator, flow feels like giving yourself permission to pivot and change direction when your energy shifts. Now, projectors are the guides of the planet. They are incredible for us to, be able to be guided from a higher perspective, but they are not meant to hustle. There are plenty of projectors who do have motor centers defined, and I'm not going to go into that right now, but it does mean they do have an energy source. It's just not from their sacral, and it doesn't recharge like, a manifesting generator or a generator would when they go to sleep at night. They don't recharge their batteries like that. They need a lot more downtime and a lot more rest. So for a projector, their energy levels might fluctuate, and, during the day, they might be really productive. And, well, no, I shouldn't say productive because it's not that. I mean energized. When a projector is energized, they can, do things for a couple of hours and then they really need to retreat and recharge for the rest of the time. Forcing for a projector feels bitter and it feels like no one is seeing them. But when they're in the flow, they feel recognized, they feel successful, they feel like they are guiding. And that's so, so important. And reflectors. So I recently learned that my late brother was a reflector, which is amazing to know that we have one in the family. And they are deeply influenced by their environment and the people around them. They do not have a consistent source of energy, but they can be influenced by family members or people around them where the energy, they can get it from family members. So my brother, grew up in a household of manifesting generators and generators. And, at times that would have been absolutely exhausting for him. But then at other times that would have just lit him up and gave him this energy that he, can't get for himself. And so reflectors, when they're forcing decisions to be fast, they can feel really disconnected and out of flow. But when they are in flow, it's when they give themselves time, they have this spaciousness and they're sampling different things and different ways of doing things and ways of being. Even just with all of the energy types, you can feel the difference instantly when you're moving with your energy instead of moving against it. So back to my story. It's only something that I've realized just recently probably in the last couple of months where I thought I was following my design. I thought I was living in flow. I thought that I was living as a manifesting generator and honoring my energy, when actually I wasn't. I was still trying to be like a generator. I was still trying to go, 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 and wondering why I was feeling dull and deflated, and why I was feeling like nothing was happening, and wondering why I felt like my fire inside had gone out a little bit, or why it was so hard to light my fire all the time. My energy was so deeply entangled with my mum's that I thought that was how you were supposed to be. And I still thought, even though intellectually, and I've read this and I've studied this, as a manifesting generator, my energy is non-linear, and, there's a different way of doing things, and it's not always just a straight path. There was still this subconscious belief that that's how I needed to do things. Now, when I realized and I became aware that this was happening, it shifted immediately. I stopped trying to get up every day and do 100 things on my list. I softened within myself because I knew that my energy was slightly different and that there were ebbs and flows. And that made me understand myself on a better, deeper level. I gave myself permission to rest when I actually needed to rest. And this isn't just about my mum. I have a generator daughter as well, and her energy is go, 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 go. And she's 6 years old, so it's even more, it's even bigger. And she can have a rest for 5 minutes, like sit down, have a meal, and then she'll be going again, like literally bouncing down the hallways. And there was a time where I was actually trying to make her be like me. I needed rest, so I was trying to get her to rest. But that's not how her energy works. And bedtimes, oh my God, bedtimes for a generator child, if they are not fully, if they haven't used all of their energy, they are not going to be easy to get to bed at night. So it helped me to understand my daughter. It helped me to recognize when I needed rest and to allow myself to be creative in bursts, or to really honor that manifestor part of me where it's not always doing things in a straight line. Oh, and the relief that gave me, it was like this weight off my shoulders, this massive permission slip to just be me. Like, I don't need to be like that. And then to help me be a better mother on top of that, because I understand how my daughter's energy is different to mine. I don't expect her to be like me, and I don't expect her to sit still. I don't expect her to want to sit down and color and do gentle activities. She needs stimulation. She needs pressure. She needs to move her body. And it really allowed me to be okay with her bouncing and moving down the hallways while I sat down with my cup of tea, and giving myself that permission to not have to be the mum that is always doing something, that is always entertaining, that is, constantly doing activities with my kids. I'm not built that way, and that's okay. When I do have the energy, I give it to her. I do. But the permission really came from allowing myself to step back and be like, no, I don't have the energy for this right now, and that is okay. It's just helped relationships all over the board, because my partner as well, he's a manifestor. So his energy dips a lot. He's energized some of the time, and then other times he actually needs to be resting, and he's not bouncing off the walls like my daughter. It just really helped me to adjust my expectations and compassion for those people in my life, because I stopped expecting them to be like me, and also I stopped expecting myself to be like them as well. So I don't take it personally anymore. I allow them to be who they are, and I continue to develop my understanding of myself. And that is one of the most amazing gifts that anyone can give to themselves, that self-acceptance and self-trust to to know when your energy is shifting and to know that you're different from other people and to stop the comparison game. You don't need to be consistent like other people in your life. You don't need to be organized like other people in your life. You don't need to be calm like other people in your life. You don't need to move fast like other people in your life. You just need to be you. And the more that you honor your own energy, the more your life starts to feel like the life you actually want to live. If you would like help figuring out what your design means for how you move, for how you decide things, for how you lead, and for how you live, there are a few ways that you can explore to work with me. You can apply for my one-to-one mentorship, Harmonize, to help you deepen your awareness and your self-trust, bringing you into deeper alignment with who you are and your harmony. Or you can join us inside Trust Your Inner Voice, my group coaching container for rebuilding self-trust and learning to lead your life from your own inner wisdom. And if you're not sure, you can book a clarity call. This is not a coaching session. It's just some space and room to have a chat about which program might suit you best. Everything is in my bio, or you can just message me directly. And if you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe, and you can go back and check out the other videos in this mini series. I will see you in the next one. Bye.